Hello and welcome to the first in our series of online videos for Crowdfund Barking Dagenham. My name's Katie Austin. I'm a coach at crowdfunder.co.uk based down in Cornwall, and we're joined today by Anna, our fund matchmaker. She's just down in the corner there. Give us a little wave, Anna. Hi. So just to give you a little introduction to who Crowdfunder is. So we are the UK's largest rewards-based crowdfunding platform. And we see about 150 to 200 new ideas coming onto the website every day. So that gives you a little bit of an idea to just how popular crowdfunding is becoming today. And we also just kind of want to make sure you understand just how crowdfunding works. So a little bit of an introduction. So we're talking about rewards-based crowdfunding here. So you also have equity-based crowdfunding and peer-to-peer lending, and that's not something we cater for on crowdfunder.co.uk, but if that is something you're interested in, we can definitely direct you to the right place for that. But all right, so come on to crowdfunder.co.uk and you set up your unique project page. This is where you explain your idea. And you then set a target, so how much do you want to raise and how long you need to raise that in. And that can be anywhere between 2 to 8 weeks. So we're talking about short, sharp fundraising here. And then you spread the word to all of your family, friends, everybody you know, everybody you think that might support your project. And then if someone likes the project, they can donate some money or they can donate in return for a reward. And what we mean by a reward can really vary. So it could be an invitation to an event or an experience. It could be a product or a service, maybe like a t-shirt, for example. Or also it could be corporate sponsorship. But we'll talk a little bit more about the different types of rewards and what will work best for your project in our second part of the series. So just to give you a little example, just to make sure we're all thinking the same thing. So this is Street Goat, and here you can see Lynn and Rebecca in their van with a goat in the back, and they really love goats, so much so that they wanted to set up an urban goat farm in Bristol, and they decided to crowdfund to get that idea off the ground. And as you can see, they raised just over £9,000 in 28 days from 167 supporters in their local community. And they crowdfunded in return for a few different rewards. So you can see in the middle there, they're screen printing some really great tote bags with a jazzy Street Goat label on the front. And you could also get an experience to go and learn how to make goat's cheese when the farm opened. So obviously some really great rewards. But it's not just about goats on Crowdfunder. There's a huge range of different projects that you can crowdfund for, everything from education, so you've got schools, universities, people wanting to set up a film, community projects, charities, and businesses. So it just gives you an idea of just how broad-ranging Crowdfunder can be. And it's really important at this point to mention that crowdfunding isn't just about the money. So for a lot of projects, it's a lot more than that. Number one is validation. And if we think back to Rebecca and Lynn at Street Goat, this is really important for them. Doing a Crowdfunder campaign basically told them if it was a good idea or not. Does anybody else want an urban goat farm? Or are they completely bonkers? So at the end of that campaign, they had 167 people who had put the money in, put their hands in their pockets and supported the idea. And so they knew that there were going to be people coming to the goat farm and who wanted it in the community. So another key validation that a crowdfunding project can give is to other funds. So if you want to go and get further grant funding or maybe a bank loan, a crowdfunding project can look really good and be a great tick in the box for other funders. And the next thing that any project, successful project who's run a crowdfunding campaign will tell you is that the awareness around what you're doing will increase massively after and during your crowdfunder. You can't help but shout loud and proud and tell everybody you know about what you're doing. And it's a really great way to kind of communicate the story and really educate people about the key points of what you're all about. Another thing we see a lot with crowdfunding projects, that the people who support the project during your campaign will be advocates for your idea, that they're going to be in it for the long haul, especially for projects that crowdfunding for like the beginning stages of their idea, because your supporters really felt like they were part of that beginning journey. They made this happen and they want to see what you're up to along the way. They'll come to your events and they'll shout about it to all their friends. So, look what I supported, look what I helped make happen. And then another thing, especially why we're here today, is to talk about extra funding. So just by running a crowdfunder project, you can access a wide range of extra funds. In particular, Anna's going to talk about the Barking and Dagenham Fund today. So at this point in the game, normally people say, this is amazing, great, but where's the catch? And basically, there isn't one. So it's completely free to set up. There's no upfront fees. If you do raise some money and raise the funds you need, and there's a 5% plus VAT platform fee. There's also some payment provider fees from Stripe, who take payments through a credit or debit card on your project. And if you want to know more about the fees in more detail, go onto the Crowdfunder website and scroll down to the bottom, and in the bar down there, there's a little link to the fees page, which tells you in detail everything you need to know. So we're going to pass over to Anna now, who's going to tell you a little bit more about how to apply for the funds and how our extra funding works. All right.
Brilliant. Thank you, Katie. And hello, everyone. So basically, Crowdfunder is partnering with some amazing organizations and local authorities. And the one I'll be talking to you about in particular today is the Barking and Dagenham Fund. We have loads more, so if you want to have a look at any of the others, just go to the link above. And basically the way it works is that these partners have money to give away to projects like yours, potentially, and they can pledge on projects just like any other backer, and it goes towards the total target. So the Barking and Dagenham Fund that we're talking to you about today is for projects in the Barking and Dagenham area of London, so in that borough. And they're seeking to support projects that can help with things like increasing employability for people, getting people healthy and increasing well-being, improving cohesion in communities, and increasing civic pride. So if you think your project can do any of those things, and if you're in that Barking and Dagenham borough, then definitely check out the page and the fund, because the partner is willing to pledge 50% up to £10,000 towards the project. So it's definitely worth looking. It can help really boost projects and reach a target. So to apply is actually super simple. You have to first of all log in and sign up for crowdfunder.co.uk, start creating a project, and you'll see this pop-up appear which says tell me more. So you click into that and it will take you to this page. You don't actually have to be a live project to apply. You can still be in the pre-launch stage, so you don't have to finish everything and be up and running. You can apply before this and you can get some feedback from us or the partner as well, which is always really helpful. The application page is also really simple. It shows you the criteria as well, so definitely have a read of the criteria and make sure you address all their points. It has a little link there so you can refresh your memory. So you fill in the application form, submit it, the partner will review it, and they'll let you know if you've been approved. If approved, you have to raise a bit of the funds just to show that you have some crowd support. And then Barking Dagenham will pledge 50% of your target. So it's really simple, and it's really, really great thing we're doing, partnering with these organisations and local authorities. So yeah, check it out, and I'll hand it back to Katie now. Thanks.
Thanks, Anna. And it's also, if you don't think that the Barking Dagenham Fund is suitable for you, or even if you do, there's other funds as well on our website. In particular, the Santander Changemaker Fund is really great for community projects. So there's nothing to stop more than one fund being pledged on your project as well. So definitely have a look at the other funds in the extra funding section on Crowdfunder too. So going forward, let's talk about how we're going to break down the next 3 sessions. So today we're going to talk about part 1 of how to run a successful crowdfunding campaign, planning your project. This is really important. You want to get your team together, identifying your crowd, and getting your ideas straight. And that's what we're going to talk about in more detail next. And then in the next session, we're going to talk about how to create the perfect project page. And that's really about how to tell your story through your crowdfunder page, what rewards are going to work best. So tune in next time for creating your project. And then lastly, we're going to look at running your project. So this is what you're going to do when your campaign goes live. How are you going to get the word out there? How are you going to communicate what you're doing to your supporters, through what channels, social media, email, events, everything, and the timing of that throughout that 2 to 8 weeks. So really important to note here that we have some excellent downloadable PDF guides that go alongside or work very well on their own with these videos. You can download them at the bottom of this YouTube video, or on the Eventbrite page, or on Crowdfunder, on the Crowdfund website as well. And this is especially for the Crowdfund Barking Dagenham. So you've got the very own guide, and these guides are fantastic. They're interactive, they're like a workbook. So there's checklists and templates, a really useful thing to use throughout your project, helping you planning what you're going to do and through running it. So you can print that off and scribble all over it. And it's also quite fancy high tech. You can actually edit straight into the PDF guide as well. So definitely get those downloaded at the end of this webinar if you haven't already. So moving on, planning your project. We're going to talk first about creating your team. So crowdfunding on your own can be quite hard and lonely. So we really recommend kind of getting a few people to help you, and we recommend a team of about 2 to 5 people for a crowdfunding campaign. But this doesn't have to be anything formal. You don't need to have like t-shirts with names on the back and badges printed. It's just really identifying the skills needed to run a successful crowdfunder project. So since as you're watching this, you're probably the project leader. And you might also be really good at writing. So you can see here we've just identified all the different skills that we recommend having, and there's some crossovers in here as well. But so say you're the project leader, maybe you're good at writing as well, and you're also really good at networking. You know, loads of people. However, you're not great at making videos. You're not great at taking photos. Now's the time to find someone who is. You might know someone, and if you don't, you can find someone. So really important to really get a clear idea of who's going to do what throughout the campaign, and really important thing to do in the early stages. And next thing that we really recommend doing in this beginning part of your crowdfunder is getting your ideas straight. So really being able to clearly communicate what you are doing to everybody. It might be clear on your mind, but then when you try to put it down on paper or speak to someone about it, it kind of gets a bit muddled up. So it's a really good exercise to kind of get some key points on what this idea is all about. And there's some great exercises as well in the PDF guides that can help you to do this. And let's look at a few examples, and just to kind of explain what I mean. So, well, first of all, we've got the Growing Better CIC. So they are a really great project, and it's all about growing these little microgreens that you can see in that picture. And they're growing the microgreens in hydroponic indoor farms, and they're teaching people with mental health issues to grow the greens. So it's tackling mental health, it's providing jobs. Really amazing project, and they also got some Santander funding as well. Next, we've got a Barking and Dagenham project based in the borough, and also got some funding from Barking and Dagenham, using drama to protect children from online danger. So it's already pretty clear from their title. It's about drama, putting on drama workshops from Arc Theatre. They put on drama workshops in schools, teaching kids all about the dangers of being online from social media and Facebook, something really, really important today. And then next we've got Timepiece, a really cool online platform set up to really aid refugees and asylum seekers when they first come into our country. They often can't get jobs straight away, and they can feel quite isolated. So this app is like links people up to exchange skills for free. So someone who wants a saxophone lesson can swap they can give someone a guitar lesson in return. Really awesome project. So really tackling social integration and kind of that isolation and loneliness. And our last project is also tackling isolation and loneliness, but in the older generation, and particular people with dementia. So, and as you can see, there's a furry little bunny in the photo, and they tackle this. It's from Stephanie Farm. They tackle with using animals as therapy, and we're going to talk about them in just a moment's time a little bit more. So I'd definitely go online and have a look at those projects. One of the best ways to learn about how to run a crowdfunding campaign, and especially like creating your project and how to tell your story, is by looking at other projects on the Crowdfunder website. So definitely recommend going and doing that. So you're going to look a little bit more at furry tales. So this is one of my favourite projects. Fairy Tales is an amazing project run by Stephanie Farm in London, and they take some of their cute little fluffy animals. They've got guinea pigs, rabbits, chickens, you can even see there, and they take them into care homes and out to the old elderly people in their local community. And as you can see from the happy looks on the guys in the photos' faces, animals are really fantastic for just providing a little bit of respite from the loneliness that can come from a lot of people in care homes. You might not have many family members around, and it's also can be a really great therapy for people with dementia. So they were crowdfunding to help bring that project to more people in their local area and to help with their marketing campaign. And as you can see from that picture, and this is what they were offering in return for financial support for the project. So they had some really cute little fairy tale notebooks, set up some badges, and they also, as a thank you, they would send you a photograph of one of the fairy tale residents. So really, really lovely, heartwarming projects tackling some really important social issues. And they raised £10,000 for their cause, and also got some £4,000 of funding from our Trust for London fund. So when you are kind of getting your idea together, you want to start thinking about who's going to support your project. This is really important. Who is going to be interested in this? And a great way to kind of identify those people is to think, well, what is the common ground? what about your project might they be interested in that could lead them to pledge on it and support it? So we've broken this down for furry tales here, like into four different things that might make someone want to support it. So the first, they might have grandparents, or it might be someone older who's got some friends in a care home, or knows some people who are suffering from a little bit of loneliness. The next is anyone who loves animals or is particularly interested in using animals as therapy. You can't help but love seeing animals bring people joy. So that's a really, really key one for this project. And also anyone who's kind of got a link to someone who's suffered from dementia. So any people who like dementia charities, for example, or maybe you've got a friend or family member who suffered with this, and you could really see they could really see the value in this animal therapy. And then lastly, anybody in the local community surrounding Stepney Farm and Tower Hamlets, where one of the main bits of the project was happening, they just think that this is a great thing that's happening in the local area and they want to see more of it. So it's really important to kind of try and identify those key kind of motivators behind why someone would be interested. And that really helps you find them, which we'll come on to in a minute. But at this stage, one of the best things you can do, not only for your crowdfunding project, but for your project in general, is to create a network map. So here we've got this brilliant template to get you started. This is in the PDF guide, so don't worry, you don't need to scribble it down now. You can download that to help you, but I really recommend getting a big piece of paper and creating your own, and you can really get into this. So we start by kind of got a few little circles of things you can start with, and it's often really great to look at friends and family first, the people who are closest to you. You really want to identify those people that are gonna support the project, that are in your inner circle. And then we've got local people, maybe some press, and people on Facebook. And a really great thing that starts to happen when you make this network map is that you not only see the people that you know, but you can start to identify the people that they know. And it starts to get bigger and bigger. And it's really incredible when you start to look how many people you can get to support your project who that might be interested in this. So this network map will be an ongoing progress as well, an ongoing piece of work. You'll never stop adding to it, right from when you start doing it till after your crowdfunding campaign has finished. So really highly recommend getting a start on that. And it also really helps when you're telling your story and when you're trying to choose your rewards. And at this point, we kind of want to mention kind of why do people pledge on a project? There are two main reasons. The first camp is that they really believe in your idea. They think it's something that's doing really great things in the world. It's really worthwhile putting their money behind. And the second camp is that they want something in return. They think the reward is really something great. So you can see that that they believe in your idea might be kind of more the camp a lot of people are in for the Fairy Tales project. Whereas if it's a business, they want a reward. This circle is a little bit more relevant. So you really want to kind of have a look at your project and see where most of the people are going to fall in these two camps. And that can really help you to kind of see where you need to focus your attention when you're creating your project. You need to make sure your story is really strongly told, because it's all about what you're doing, or is it that it's the things that you're getting in return, the rewards? They need to make sure that they're really excellent quality and value rewards, and that they're kind of communicated really well in your project. But ideally, we've got this little sweet spot in the middle, and some of the most successful crowdfunder projects will fall on both camps. it really can vary, but that little sweet spot, that green spot in the middle is where a lot of great things can happen. So if you can kind of try and identify both, great, but it will change from project to project, but something very important to think about and will help going forwards. So next, we want to think about nurturing our crowd in the run-up to our Crowdfunder campaign. And what we mean by that is telling people about what you're doing, letting them know. So, you know, you don't launch a new film without putting trailers out, do you? You don't kind of go, oh yeah, we've got the films out now. You put teasers out. You kind of let people know what's happening. You warm up your crowd, get people excited about it, create a bit of a buzz. And you also, we want to think about growing the crowd. Your network isn't this fixed set thing. You want to keep thinking about more the other people that you can reach out to. Who else could be interested in your project? And a really great way to do this, there's a great tool on Facebook, just one of the many things you can do, is by searching for different groups and pages. So going back to that exercise that you've done on what's your common ground, and so we're thinking people who are interested in who support dementia charities. So you can look for kind of groups in your local area or charities in your local area or nationally. Also, you could type in animal lovers and search for kind of or local community groups. There's like so many people you can get in touch with on Facebook. And this is not only great for finding supporters for when your project goes live, but it's also great for getting feedback on your project. So you can kind of send them your project page and say, you know, does this make sense? Is there anything you think I should add? It'd be really useful for that too. So I think we've covered everything just about on planning your project. You can find lots more detail in the PDF guide, as we said. And before next time, I'd really like you to go ahead and download those PDF guides and get cracking on those. And number two, really get your ideas straight. Have a really clear, precise vision of what it is you're talking about, so you can tell anyone on the street, you can write it in a tweet on Facebook. You're really, really well prepared for anyone asking you about what your project is about. And three, start your network map. Really important. And if you have any questions or need any extra support, you can email in at support@crowdfunder.co.uk. And our next webinar, part 2 on creating your project, is at 12 p.m. next Monday, the 2nd of October. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.